Before few years, I was traveling and I was doing consultations. So uh, I'm sitting here. I have a client in front of me and someone who is translating there because I and my client we don't understand each other's language. Now there is a window there uh, on the other side. So I have a habit that whenever I am thinking or whenever there is a gap and the translator is translating, I look outside the window. It's like my way of going into the zone and collecting new ideas and insights. So the client in front of me is talking to me about how he has invested like a couple of 100 million euros in some international project. Before a couple of years he invested, and he's talking to me about his big projects, and I understand that he's some kind of an oligarch, some big short rich guy. But while he's talking about all of his money, I sense again a sense of discontentment or unhappiness in his tone. So I asked that you're talking about all these things, like you have all these big projects, but you don't seem to be happy. He said, yes, especially I'm not happy with this particular project in which I invested about 200 million euros. I was promised that I should be getting about 10% of profit from that project. That means I should be getting around 20 millions a year from that project. Instead of those 20%, what I got was only 4 million euro for the first year and 7 million euros for the second year. So instead of 40 million euros, what I got in 2 years is only 11 million euros, and that is so disappointing. Now all this he's talking in his language. At the moment I don't understand anything. My translator is listening, and while he's talking, I'm looking outside the window, and what I see outside the window is there is a small shop, like this grocery shops, and as with all grocery shops, there is a garbage bin outside, and I see a bum, a homeless guy, who is standing near that garbage box and trying to find something. So by the time my translator uh, listened complete story and narrated to me, I saw what happened there outside on the street. That bum, that homeless guy, he had found a half-eaten burger, and he was biting from that. And when he found that half-eaten burger, the way he burst with joy, you could see that this guy has found $1 million by himself. For me, it was a very interesting experience because the very same moment it was showing me two different worlds. A world where someone had made millions of profit, but he is unhappy because what he made is just 25% of what he expected. On the other hand, in the same moment, I see someone bursting with joy, like he has found some diamond. So if you look at the value of two things, the value of 11 millions, where is the value of 11 millions, and where is the value of half an eaten burger? There is no comparison between the values, and yet the thing which has more material value could make someone unhappy, and the thing which has practically no material value could make someone happy. What it shows is that at every moment of our life, we are existing at the same time in two dimensions. First is the dimension of what happens to us or what happens around us. That is what I call the outer world. And the second dimension that we live all the time is the inner dimension, which I call the inner world of experiences of the way we feel. So here is the interesting thing. For some reason, we have grown up believing that how I feel is decided by what happens around me, which in fact is a false equation. Not just any other false equation. I call it the mother of all false equations. So this, my friend, is one of the greatest illusions. This is the greatest false equations that how I feel is decided by what happens to me or what happens around me. Yes, when you get failure, you might feel sad, and that's okay. When what you expected doesn't happen, you might feel disappointed. That's okay. What I'm talking about is not feeling temporarily this sadness or anger or disappointment. What I'm talking about is staying in the state of disappointment and anger and sadness for days and months and years, even after the event has happened. For some reason, we believe that there is a dependency of our inner world on the outer world. If you want a good career, you need to have either good talent or good education. Now there is a dependency that if you don't have education or talent, obviously there are very less chances that you can have a good professional career. So there, yes, there is dependency. If this happens, then that will happen. But when it comes to the outer world and our inner experiences, the dependency that we have in our mind is just in our mind. In reality, it does not have to be like that. And see in what way this false equation ruins people's life. For example, because we have this false equation, many of us believe that, many of us have decided that once I become rich, I will feel relaxed. Once I find that job, I'm going to enjoy my life. Once I have my own house, that is when I will feel settled. That is when I will feel peace. Once I find that man or woman who loves me, only then I'm going to find peace in my heart. Peace and joy and happiness are also our natural state, very much like breathing. And when we put a condition on them that if that happens, then I will have this, what we are doing is we are blocking, as if we are blocking the breathing. There is no need. You could first have the peace and joy, and then go and get what you want. So let me make it clear. I'm not saying you should not have goals and dreams. I'm saying have as big goals and dreams as you want. What I'm saying is that there is no need for us to connect our basic inner states of happiness and peace with those things, with those outer achievements. So the bottom line is, as human beings, we want things from both the worlds, and that's totally fine. We want the things from the inner world like love, joy, peace, happiness, relaxation. And then we want things from the outer world, achievements, meeting your goals, rising high in life, being famous, getting more prosperous, finding a person to love. All of these things are in the outer world, and we want both the things, and that's totally fine. What is not fine is connecting these two. I want to share with you a very simple process that can free us from this one of the greatest limiting mental patterns called false equations. And how do we do that?